According to Howard Caldwell, some of his happiest memories began when he was 3 years old and his family moved into apartment 4 at the Audubon Court near the southeast corner of Audubon Road and Washington Street, a busy Irvington intersection even back then in 1928. Howard remembers that the best part about living in Audubon Court was that nothing was structured, and he and his neighborhood pals had plenty of places to explore. One of their playgrounds was the grounds of a nearby Victorian home built in 1870 where the James Lehman family lived. In 1932, the Depression forced Howard Sr. and Elsie Caldwell and their children, Howard Jr. and Virginia, to move in with his widowed mother, who lived at 30 North Beausart. It was there that Howard, the aspiring young journalist, got his start. As a second grader, he began writing and publishing his own neighborhood newspaper. The paper was entitled The Weekly News, but the staff of one churned out papers on a very irregular basis because it took a great deal of time to hand stamp each letter of every issue. The reward for this labor-intensive effort was the subscription rate of a half-cent an issue. By the summer of 1937, Howard's father decided to acquire a home for his family, so they moved to 81 North Hawthorne Lane. For Howard, it was a wonderful house because it was near his new school, number 57, and he had his own bedroom where he kept special possessions like a picture of Lou Gehrig. Howard and his fellow newsboys idolized the New York Yankee wonder. They called themselves the Station B softball team. In the fall of 1940, Howard entered Howe High School, which by then was only 2 years old. While there, he displayed a broad range of interests, which included playing clarinet in the school band, running on the track and cross-country team, and performing in school plays. It was his involvement in the school newspaper, the Howe Tower, however, that clearly foretold what the future would hold for him. During those carefree years, Howard and others his age led a life that was less complicated than today. Like many of Irvington's younger generation who didn't own cars, he got around by walking, riding a bike, or climbing aboard a streetcar to attend the Irvington United Methodist Church, see movies at the Irving Theater, frequent such places as the Irvington Pastry Shop and Linder's Ice Cream Parlor, or head downtown for more variety and adventure. By 1944, Howard's young life took an unexpected turn during World War II, when he graduated early from Howe, leaving during the middle of his senior year to join the U.S. Navy. It didn't occur to him that he was leaving a life that would never be the same again, but somehow he knew that growing up in Irvington would help him deal with all the many things that were to come. After returning from 2.5 years of duty in World War II and following in the footsteps of his parents, Howard attended Butler University, where he received his BA in journalism. In 1950, he landed his first job working as a reporter for the Hagerstown Exponent, but shortly afterwards, the Korean War returned him to active duty as petty officer journalist in the States. 16 months later, he was free to pursue his career. By this time, a lifelong interest in radio led him to wonder if he could combine radio with journalism. But with no on-air experience, it wasn't easy finding a new job. But in 1952, a lucky break found him working at WTHI Radio in Terre Haute, where he reported news. Then in 1954, the station obtained its television license, and a whole new world opened up. While at WTHI, Howard was the news director and anchor. He learned a lot and was grateful for the experience, but was restless and wanted to move up in the broadcast world, so he cast his eye towards home in Indianapolis. In 1959, he landed at then WFBM, the predecessor to WRTV. It was there that he would spend the next 35 years. Change is the name of the broadcasting business, but Howard endured them all. Technology, co-anchors, fashion, and sets. Throughout his tenure at Channel 6, Howard became a trusted figure to the viewing public, reporting the news as an anchor. He was not always chained to a desk, though. In the field, he scored many an exclusive interview with local, national, and international figures, and helped us all to appreciate the richness of our state's history, art, and culture through his Howard's Indiana features. Throughout his career, Howard was regarded as a man of integrity and uncompromising honesty, and won the admiration of his peers with numerous awards, which included induction into the Indiana Broadcasters and Journalists Broadcast Halls of Fame. Undisputed as an Indiana broadcasting icon, he retired in 1994. In his retired life, Howard occasionally does speaking engagements and is writing a book about Indianapolis's old downtown theaters. Still very active, he enjoys tennis, walking, and spending time with his wife of 51 years, Lynn, their 3 married daughters, and 7 grandchildren, all of whom live in the area. To quote Howard, "Irvington for me has always stood for strength, stability, and happiness. It was a wonderful measuring stick for the future. Yes, I left Irvington, but it never left me."